Our next speaker is going to be Judith Pryor, who is the Vice Chair of the Export-Import Bank of the U.S., and you are directed to her biography, which is extremely impressive. So with that, I would like to kick it off, Judith, with you introducing yourself and tell us what all you're thinking about and what your vision is and how Ex-Im Bank is moving forward.
Thank you, Sheila, and I'm so pleased to be here today, albeit virtually. I'm Judith Pryor. I was recently sworn in as the first Vice President and Vice Chair of the Board of Directors at the Export-Import Bank of the United States, better known as XM. I'm happy to be back here after about an 8-month break pending my Senate confirmation as Vice Chair. I served at the Export-Import Bank for about 2 years on the board of directors from 2019 through July of 2021. And before that, I served during the Obama administration at OPIC, now known as the U.S. International Development Finance Corporation, or EASY DFC. Anyway, I'm delighted to be here today, and thank you so much for including me in your annual meeting. So today I thought I'd talk a little bit about XM with you and some of the developments that your members may find of interest. As you may know, XM is a small, independent federal government agency with a simple mission: to support U.S. jobs by facilitating exports. We're a very important tool in the U.S. government's trade toolbox as the official export credit agency, or ECA, of the U.S. We achieve our mission and support you by providing medium and long-term financing through direct loans and guarantees, including working capital and supply chain finance guarantees. We also provide export credit insurance. And while many think we only participate in large transactions because we have an exposure cap of about $135 billion and no transactional dollar limit, it's just not true. We provide insurance and financing to businesses of all sizes, with a large team here at XM dedicated to small and medium-sized enterprises. In fact, over the past 5 years, about 80% of our transactions were in support of small businesses. And when we support a U.S. manufactured aircraft, say, to Turkish Airlines or KLM, just think of the thousands of small businesses that feed into that supply chain. We truly do fulfill our mission of supporting jobs through exports. And we don't compete with the private sector. Many like to think that we do, but honestly, we don't. We fill the gaps when they cannot or will not provide financing because of sector limitations or country risk, and now liquidity issues as well because of COVID-19. So think of us as a complement to the private sector. In fact, most of our transactions are actually done in conjunction with private sector lenders, either loan guarantees or through delegation of authority. And delegation of authority allows certain trusted financial institutions with a long proven XM track record, like TD Bank or Regions Bank, Citi, to name a few, to provide XM-backed financing efficiently. So, Sheila, since we opened in May of 2019 following an unfortunate 4-year absence from the marketplace, only to be engulfed like the rest of the world by COVID-19 a short year later, XM has authorized more than $11 billion in financing for U.S. exporters. And that number supports roughly 40,000 U.S. jobs. We can, we should, and we really must do more to help U.S.-based manufacturers and exports grow their businesses, especially in key sectors and areas. For example, XM approved a $360 million finance transaction in support of, that was $360 million total in support of our small businesses, particularly minority and women-owned businesses in 2021. And that was up 10% from the year prior. So that's a good thing. However, XM's support of environmentally beneficial goods and services only totaled a mere 72 million. I know we can do better. The bottom line, XM is here to reduce the risk of exporting and ensure American-made goods and services have a level playing field on which to compete fairly when they look to access foreign markets. Because when American industry can do this, they can and will win more overseas sales. So how do we do more? You know, as many of you may know, the Biden-Harris administration has announced a key global infrastructure initiative. This initiative is a unified vision among the world's major democracies for meeting the tremendous infrastructure needs of low and middle income countries. The initiative is rooted in shared values of transparency, inclusivity, high standards, and sustainability. So together with the private sector, our G7 partners, and other US stakeholders, the US will aim to mobilize hundreds of billions of dollars of infrastructure investment across Central and South America, Sub-Saharan Africa, Southeast Asia, the Indonesian Pacific, and the Middle East. Notably, the US is looking to bring the full potential of our finance tools to bear, including XM and its sister agencies, the DFC, as I mentioned earlier, USTDA, or Trade and Development Agency, USAID, and others. And our aim is to complement foreign domestic infrastructure investments by creating new opportunities for US-based manufacturers and exporters to demonstrate our competitiveness abroad, and all in support of creating jobs here at home and fulfilling our mission. President Biden's infrastructure initiative focuses on advancing sustainable projects across 4 key sectors: combating the climate crisis, safeguarding global health and health security, accelerating technological transformation in the face of a growing digital divide, and developing what we call the care economy to advance gender equity. But beyond this initiative, XM is, of course, open for business in all sectors, with emphasis placed on several areas. First, Congress, through our 2019 reauthorization, our most recent authorization, has provided flexibility for XM to better support US exporters that are facing competition from China in 10 key transformational export areas, including cutting-edge technologies like biotech, AI, financial tech, to advanced manufacturing products such as semiconductors, to renewable energy, expanding that to include energy storage and efficiency. And energy storage, of course, is sure to take center stage. As we get this initiative up and running, our China Transformational Exports Program, again, what would we be if we weren't full of acronyms? So we fondly call this our CTEP program in-house. This China Transformational Exports Program authorized about $140 million in its first year of operations. We know China is a real competitor in these areas, and this program hopefully can offer some financial flexibilities to US exporters so that they can compete on a level playing field. Second, clean and renewable energy is within itself a priority. We know the world is in transition to a greener net zero future. We believe US exports in nuclear, wind, solar, hydrogen, energy storage can be critical to driving that transition. And we've played a part in that transition. In 2020, we financed a rural electrification project in Senegal, which was about a $92 million project, and it built out distribution grids to about 400 villages. And it also includes solar microgrids to a handful of even more rural villages. So stay tuned there. Uruguay, for example, we authorized $140 million for 2 wind projects that provided over 100 megawatts of power. Third, I would say we are truly committed to helping America's small businesses, especially in key supply chain networks. A couple of things here. As I mentioned earlier, about 80% of our annual transactions on average are with US small and medium-sized enterprises. and we're always trying to do more. So through a robust marketing program, absolutely required during COVID when everything went completely digital, XM conducted 600 educational webinars for small businesses owned by veterans, women, other minorities, and those with disabilities. In addition, Chair Lewis recently announced the creation of a small business council to identify ways that small businesses can find new markets, grow sales, and lower the risk of selling internationally. I'm looking forward to that subcommittee when it comes online. So if we pivot to your sector, the energy sector, while XM doesn't pick or choose with whom it works, we are truly demand driven. We will give all sectors a fair shake. We do have decades of experience financing projects in the energy sector, as many of your membership know. So our support dates back to the 1940s when we financed hydropower facilities in Colombia, Ghana, and Afghanistan. And over the decades, XM has supported some firsts too. We were the first ECA, or Export Credit Agency, to participate in the Indian government's goal to achieve 100,000 megawatts of solar power. We financed the development of the first 300 megawatts. We were the first utility scale wind project, or first ECA to support a utility scale wind project in Honduras, for which we financed about 160 million to support the export of Gamesa wind turbines. You know, I'm particularly excited about the large pipeline we've developed, from mini grids to larger renewables to energy storage projects, so stay tuned. But to be clear here, we also have a long history supporting other power sources, including nuclear and oil and gas. And I'll say it again, stay tuned here as well. I'm told we have quite a few projects in our pipeline. But you've probably gathered from some of my comments today, if not most of my comments, that I'd really like to focus on the future, in particular, your future, our future, the future economy and climate that we leave for generations to come. At XM, we are committed to supporting the energy solutions of the future and ensuring that clean energy and the products and innovations that drive it are American made. We also want to make sure that US manufacturers and exporters are positioned to take advantage of a double-digit growth market as the world transitions. One of the key areas in my portfolio of previous experience was clean energy. And when it comes to renewables, we know full well that the global marketplace is crowded and the competition is fierce. I've had many discussions with American clean energy companies that are looking to expand their energy access and security in parts of the world that need it the most while reducing carbon emissions. We spoke of opportunities and hurdles that we are all tackling in the clean energy sector. The business opportunities for US providers, if given a level playing field on which to compete internationally, far outweigh the challenges and are well worth pursuing. I've been involved tangentially in the energy industry for a long time, and I've never seen such a concerted push from the public and private sectors, NGOs, philanthropy, academia, individuals. You've discussed this today. The world's come together to forge this path for the clean energy transition, and XM is committed to significantly increasing its support for environmentally beneficial, renewable energy, energy efficiency, and energy storage exports. No clean energy project should be halted for a lack of financing. Climate crisis is too urgent and the risks are just too great. So let me just speak for a moment, if I could, about a couple of those specific initiatives. The first being one that is specifically designed to help exporters navigate those challenges and to unlock America's full potential. You know, just last month, XM's board of directors, our president and chair, Ms. Lewis, director and former Congressman Spencer Backus of Alabama, and I approved a domestic finance initiative that we call Make More in America. So by complementing XM's foreign buyer financing programs with financing for domestic investment, XM can contribute to the growth and security of critical supply chains while continuing to meet our core mission of supporting U.S. jobs. And such financing will, for the first time, allow XM to provide support across the entire export lifecycle. So everything from capital investment to enable production capacity, to export credit insurance and buyer financing to win specific export sales. Importantly, transactions in this new initiative must be linked to exports, must pass XM's traditional, what we fondly call additionality standard, which is ensuring that our financing is complementary to existing government programs and private sector lending. Supporting the full life cycle of an export, by the way, is not a new idea. Many other ECAs throughout the world have been doing this for quite some time to make their country's businesses more competitive globally. And as we know, relying on any one country for critical minerals, such as that of strategic competitor nations like China, is just not a good idea. This expansion of our service offerings is meant to help US-based companies in a variety of ways, with great potential for the many clean energy companies seeking to expand their manufacturing capability here, so they can then export their innovative technology and services to the world. We're hearing a lot of buzz amongst clean energy companies for this initiative, so that's pretty exciting. Decades of underinvestment, the COVID-19 pandemic, recent global events, all have exposed long-standing holes in America's supply chains, including insufficient manufacturing capacity and the erosion of the US export industrial base. These structural weaknesses in both domestic and international supply chains threaten America's economic and national security, and they've made us less competitive with China and other countries. But I'm not telling you anything that you don't already know, am I? President Biden has been clear that solving these challenges requires all the tools in the US economic toolkit, including XM Bank. So that's why he's prioritized addressing these longer-term issues now through a whole of government commitment that arose from his executive order on America's supply chains. Included in that order was an ask of XM to use its existing authorities to support export-oriented US manufacturing projects. And so that's what we did. We're making available our existing medium and long-term finance offerings to export-oriented domestic manufacturing projects in all sectors and with financial incentives for critical sectors. We hope this new initiative will help revitalize American manufacturing and improve the resiliency of our supply chains, because we really do need stronger domestic production and greater commercial trade amongst countries that share our commitment to economic security, high standards, and democratic values. So in closing, let me just say this. XM is here to level the playing field so US exporters can compete fairly in the international arena. We can reduce the risk of exporting and help weatherproof your company. We support all sectors. We truly are agnostic with some very slight exceptions. And this new domestic finance initiative expands our support to the entire export cycle. Sheila, I really appreciate the opportunity to speak with you and your membership today about XM. And as my colleague, Chair Lewis, has been saying, I encourage you and your membership to think XM as you plan for the clean energy future of our planet. Thank you so much.
That's been very, very exciting, Judith. You have answered many of the questions that I had for you, and I'm deeply appreciative of you joining us today. Incredible insights, and congratulations, and looking forward to talking to you more in the future. Thank you so much. It's a real pleasure.
It's been mine. Thank you.